What's the first step that you can do to start to change your company culture, whether it's toxic or whether it is that you're just looking to make a pivot? My name is Shelly Smith. I'm the proud owner of Premier Rapport, where literally everything about what I do begins with a passion around workplace culture. So I'm not only going to tell you the first thing, but I'm going to tell you a total of 5 things today that really begin to help you shift and sort of stop you in your tracks and use a straight line in order to get at that forever mystical workplace culture. So let's get started. The first thing is we have to analyze it. I do this with my clients all the time, whether it's locally, whether it's nationally, whether it's internationally. The first thing that we have to talk about is the items that we have in black and white and how we're going to analyze it. The analysis comes literally from the numbers, whether that's profit and loss statements, whether that's satisfaction surveys, turnover stats, and there's so many other points that I take a look at. But first you have to analyze it before you can have conversations about step number 2. Step number 2 is once it's analyzed, it's a conversation around what are the gaps? What are the gaps? So you have to know inside of that what it is that you're trying to obtain, whether that is a benchmark place that you're looking from an industry average, whether it's something that you're looking at locally, but you do have to have a benchmark piece, and I help my clients with that as well. After you've analyzed it and began to look at your gap pieces, then you have to bring clarity around the intention. The intention seems to be a bigger mystical piece and harder for people to solve. The intention does get at the why, but it's clarity around the vision of the company, the vision of the department, the vision of the individual, which is that lofty, futuristic piece. But then it's also coming back to the today why inside of the mission statement, inside of the values of the individuals, the companies, and the team as well. Because you have to have clarity not in just what you analyze and what is it telling you from a gap standpoint, but then also what is it that you're intending to do? Specifically, what is it you're trying to shift outside of that? What's the change? What's the transformation? So those are the first 3. And then out of that, we've got to come back to the analysis in number 4, and that's the measurement piece. Measurement is so often missed. If you don't know what it is that you're measuring and why you're measuring, then you don't have a starting point to even begin to figure out whether there was a return on the investment to begin with, a return on the impact of the analysis, a return on the gap you're trying to fill, a return on your intentions. So again, number 1 is to begin to shift, you got to analyze where you're at. Number 2, what are the gaps that we're trying to fill? Number 3, clarity around those intentions so we can begin to measure what success looks like. And then finally, outside of that is the collaborative moment, number 5. The collaboration sometimes is, well, always, it's more than one person, right? So that can be done through a one-on-one executive and executive coaching. That can be done with internal, external entities such as consultants. That can be done in cohorts of teams through the diversity of your organization itself. That can be done through cohorts of strategic partners. That can be done with cohorts of vendors or a mixture thereof, including board of directors. So those are 5 steps to get you started. Those are clarity points that take you in a straight line. The easiest way to get there is always straight, but we often cannot figure out where to begin. So again, analyze it. What are your gaps? What are your intentions? What are we measuring and how? And then finally, how are we going to collaborate? Out of that, your bonus step is the accountability. So what was discussed must take place. We do things when we put them out to the universe and everybody knows what the expectation is. Because inherently, as individuals, regardless of how independent we are, we don't want to let others down. And once we make a statement and once we make a promise as the good stewards that we are, we do everything that we can to get there. So if you want to know how to shift and how to begin, try those 6 steps. My name is Shelly Smith. I am your culture curator, and I'm here if you need me. Remember, culture matters.